Hey everyone, welcome back to the range. My name is Matt. Standard ammunition review today. Our flavor of choice is one of my absolute favorites. This is from Fiocchi. This is in 5.7x28mm. This is their 62 grain full metal jacket Subsonic, their range dynamics. Let's throw him on the table and talk about what we're going to do today. This ammunition was available late 2022. I'm not sure when I'll post the actual review for it, because even though I bought this myself with my own money from Brownells, Fiocchi asked me not to post any information about it because it's under embargo. So whatever that means, maybe we'll just do them a favor and not post it until then. Since this round is designed to be subsonic, i.e. under the speed of sound, which is about 1130 feet per second, depending on different variations of temperature and altitude, we're going to use a condensed number of barrel lengths, mainly just my hosts that have threaded barrels that we can attach a suppressor to if these stabilize and function in those guns. One thing a lot of people online don't know with our 5.7 handguns is that there's a additional system weight penalty that you have to account for when you're trying to run subsonics and suppressors on there. Usually that means if you run a red dot, you need to keep that weight under 1.2 ounces with the mount, and with suppressors, you need to keep that weight under about 6 ounces. The little rimfire can that I have today weighs 3.2 ounces, and we're using a Trijicon RMR on the rock, which I think is right around 1.2 ounces with the mount. We use a Pro Chronopal Digital DLX to get our velocities. We have that around 12 feet. It's around 40 to 45 degrees outside today. After we've collected our velocities and do a general function test, we'll try to get a practical accuracy test as well, and then send you on your merry way. We'll start with our shortest barrel length that is threaded, and that is our Palmetto State Armory Rock. This has a 5.2 inch barrel. Essentially what we want to do is check our velocities to see if we remain subsonic through gaining in barrel length, and we also need to check our bullet stability so that before we put a can on this, we know that that bullet is flying pretty darn straight. Normally, if you shoot it about 7 yards, that's a good indication of whether that bullet is flying straight or not. The disadvantage to all of the 5.7 guns is they are all 1 in 9 twist. And depending on how long that barrel length is, when you get into those heavier and longer bullets, they may not stabilize these in time. Not getting cycling off the rock. There we go. When you add the can, you may get a little more back pressure. Like I said, I want to make sure all these bullets are stable before we go and do that. All right. And now for our 5.5 inch barrel. This is our Ruger 5.7 pistol. What I've noticed about the Ruger through all the testing is both of their barrels, the factory 4.9 and then this 5.5 inch, these give me the most velocity out of any of the other pistol lengths in the same barrel length. I'm not sure if it has to do with the way the chamber's cut or the rifling or the action, but I'll take it. Nice. And now on to our OG. This is our FN57 Mark II with the Doran Technologies or FN Specialties DT Chaos slide cover. I don't have the Trijicon RMR up top because it's on the rock. This has a 5.2 inch barrel from EFK, and because it is cold outside today, most of the time any of our slower or underpowered subsonic ammunition in 5.7s will cause the gun to choke on the first couple of rounds. I don't know what it is, but any of the guns, when they're cold, they tend to do that. Or I'm just making excuses. And we didn't have a problem. And now on to our 10.4 inch barrel. This is our FNP90 SBR with the 90 receiver. I do believe they've changed the name of these receivers, but this is from Imperial Arms FN Specialty. It's got a hollow sun up top. Very nice little package here. I have quite a bit of other 5.7 guns in varying barrel lengths, but because I only have 100 rounds of this, I want to make sure that I get a majority of the testing done and have some ammo to spare. That's it. We may go Supersonic in the 16-inch. And now for our 16-inch, this is our Ruger LC carbine. I just picked this up. I figured this would be a good gun to do any 16-inch barrel testing with our 5.7. Trigger isn't the greatest on it. It's pretty much just a carryover from the pistol. I do like this magazine release that they did, the little push-down lever, but they didn't make it ambidextrous, so it's right hand only. Oh, that one went super, folks. So that one, and that one was borderline. So just be advised, if you buy these, depending on your temperature, because it's only 40 degrees outside today, these could definitely go super in a 16-inch barrel. Looks like we have good clean holes with our 62 grain Fiocchi Subsonic 5.7. This is at about 7 yards. Don't see any wild keyholing or adverse accuracy. You know, I'm aiming pretty much right here and I'm hitting there. So let's go ahead and throw the cans on there. I only have the 2 boxes of these, so if I get an opportunity to get some more, we'll stretch this back out to maybe 100 yards to see how this opens up. But this is at 25 yards in the CMMG MK7, 0.597 inches. Very, very respectable there. There's minimal to no wind today. The target's just kind of hanging for some duct tape. That's why it's flopping. It's about 40 degrees outside. We shot that from a lead sled with the 6-power second focal plane from Primary Arms. I'm not going to complain about that in any way, shape, or form. We verified our bullet stability. Now we're going to throw our can on some of our hosts and see how it sounds. This is a JK Armament Form 1 22 caliber kit. Got the rock up first. That sounded pretty darn good, if I do say so myself. Now we have the 5.7 Mark II, same suppressor. I really like the way that sounds. Very quiet. And now our Ruger 5.7. Now this is where it's going to get really quiet on our 5.7 guns, where you can run a 5.56 K can, a lot more internal volume over a rimfire can, so these sound really good. Those are really, really quiet. I don't have a muzzle device for our Yankee Hill can, but we threw the rimfire one on here, and as I mentioned, these probably are going to go supersonic. Yep. Hear that crack? Still pretty quiet, but I probably would advise against buying these if you have a 16-inch barrel and you want that subsonic velocity. I always like to do this with my subsonic ammunition testing, where we cycle between a supersonic round that you'll hear that crack and the subsonic ammunition, so you can kind of hear a sound difference. You know, different microphones pick it up differently. So that was the super. So you should have been able to hear that crack. And we'll repeat the same on our longer barrel with our better K can. Super. As I mentioned early on with our 5.7 pistols, at least current iterations of them, we have to be careful of our total system weight. That includes the weight of the optic and the weight of the suppressor when we're running subsonics. My recommendation has always been keep the optic under 1.2 ounces and keep the can under 6 ounces. Here we have a Kestrel 22. This guy is a little hefty, I think 8.6 ounces or something, stainless steel baffles. Pretty robust suppressor, but not the quietest. We have, a few rounds of these loaded up. We'll see if we can get the can to cycle. See, didn't cycle that time. We've now switched to a lighter can. This is our JK Armament rimfire kit, drilled for 22 of course. We have the upgraded first baffle to handle the extra pressure from 5.7. Like I said, this is 3.2 ounces, so we're under our 6 ounce limit. Let's see how she runs. Still having problems with that first round. But after that, it runs pretty good. Like I said, there's a fine line with some of these loads, subsonic wise, where if you run a 55 grain full metal jacket, you got to run that load up to right around 1100 feet per second. And if you go to a heavier bullet, which because this is a type of blowback action, you're going to get a little more like slide thrust because you're propelling a heavier bullet. With a 62 grain bullet, you still got to stay above, 1025, 1050 feet per second, but you're gonna have a lot better chance of cycling the action. Today we brought out our CMMG MK57 Banshee. This takes their proprietary magazines in a standard AR lower, and the radial delayed blowback upper is specific for 5.7. This has an 8-inch barrel. We've got a Turbo 5.56 can up here. Well, everyone, I would say out of our new offerings from Fiocchi, our range dynamic 62 grain full metal jacket Subsonic is a winner in my book. We were subsonic out of all of our barrel lengths except for our 16-inch carbines. Now, typically with our 5.7, I think a majority of owners have our pistols or our PCC, PDW, SBR range barrel lengths, 8 to 10 inches. I would say with the Ruger LC carbine, probably more people are starting to buy that. So if you're looking at picking up this load for subsonic use, there's different, use cases for ammunition types. 5.7 is known for speed, but there are some cases where somebody wants a subsonic cartridge. In the past, when I've tested full metal jacket, subsonic 5.7, it'll typically go 12 to 13 plus inches in gel. It's not going to expand or fragment out. It's typically going to tumble, but it would provide you with a larger wound cavity and deeper penetration than 22 long rifle and any of those lead type bullets. And it's center fire, so it's going to be more reliable. As far as accuracy goes, we had superb accuracy out to about 25 yards. If I do test this at 100, I'll have to annotate in our little spreadsheet if we get that group size. I don't know if Fiocchi is going to send any of this ammunition out in time for me to actually finish this review, because I pretty much purchased this before any of this got released, and I'm doing them a favor not releasing it until they tell me. With all that being said, it's time for me to get the heck out of here, but at the end of all my videos, I take a moment to thank all those who helped make these possible. Number one is my Patreon and Subscribe Star fans. I have a link tree in the description below. Various different ways to either contact me to ask me questions or support me through affiliate links. Number two is Fiocchi, someone correct me in comments below, who in full transparency didn't provide the ammunition that I used in this test for review, but they said they would send some for me to do any follow-up reviews on. And of course, number three is you all for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you at the range.